Hey everybody, my name is Adam. I'm going to be doing a comparison video between the Rhino Ready V2 Companion and the Uncharted 72 Pro. I put up a Facebook post on some of the different prepper pages about the fact that I had recently purchased both of these bags based on the fact that just researching them, I wasn't able to figure out which one was going to work best for me. So here we are. Hopefully this video will shed some light and help you guys make a decision as well on these two different bug out bag, get home bags, emergency bags, whatever you'd like to call them. First things first, I don't have any affiliation with either one of these companies. I don't do this for a living. I'm just a guy in his office. With that said, with shipping included for the Rhino Ready V2 Companion fully kitted out, as well as this 3-piece MOLLE expansion panel, which covers both sides and the back, covered in MOLLE webbing, so you can add different attachments, different kits, things like that. Total, I paid $290. They are doing a sale right now. The bag itself, I believe, usually sells for $350. So to get the expansion panels and the bag for $290 shipped to my front door was a pretty solid buy. The Uncharted 72 Pro, I did get a military discount on that bag with shipping included. That came to $534. So that's a difference of 250 bucks. And to get this out of the way right off the rip, the Uncharted bag is not $250 better than the Rhino Ready. It's just not. Even if they were the same price, in my opinion, the Rhino Ready is the better bag and kit overall. But for the price difference, I cannot justify going in the direction of the Uncharted. If this isn't on sale and you're going to pay close to $400, now you're talking about more like a $100 difference, $120 difference, depending on exactly how much you get each bag for. Then I could see an argument to be made, but at the current pricing, there's no question to me that the Rhino Ready is the better value. And like I said a second ago, I also think it is the better bag. But we're still going to talk about all the specifics and the features why I think it's the better bag. So we'll get into some of the exterior features now as far as dimensions, weight, and expandability. The loaded weight of the Rhino Ready is about 20 pounds. The loaded weight of the Uncharted 72 Pro is about 16 pounds, so it is a little bit lighter. And there's reasons for that we'll get into later as far as what's inside each bag and how each bag is made. The dimensions of the Rhino Ready are 17.5 inches by 13 by 8, and the dimensions of the Uncharted are very similar. It's just a little bit taller at 20 inches by 13 by 8. The Rhino Ready is available in blackout and high vis. I have the high vis model. The blackout model is currently sold out. The Uncharted is available in black, olive, red, and orange. Depending on your situation, the high vis model might be better, and it's not that obnoxious either. So like I mentioned already, this is an expansion panel, an optional accessory. The back of the actual backpack, which this is covering, has a reflective Rhino Ready logo on it on this high-vis model, as well as 2 orange straps, which I've removed because I don't need them on here. There's also some orange striping on the side of the water bottle holder. There's some high-vis striping on the one shoulder pad, and then some MOLLE webbing and high-vis orange on the other side, and that's it. So it's not too obnoxious, just obnoxious enough, in my opinion. As far as comfort of each bag, they're both very similar. I'm a tall guy. I have a very long torso, so the waist strap on the Rhino Ready doesn't quite fit where I'd like it to. It sits a little above my waist because it's 4 inches shorter than the Uncharted. The Uncharted being 4 inches taller, the distance between the shoulder strap and the waist strap is naturally longer, so it sits a little bit better on my waist. But overall, one big difference, they're very similar as far as the outsides, but one big difference is the shoulder padding on the Rhino Ready is substantially thicker. You're probably not going to be able to tell, but the Uncharted is a lot thinner. There's really no padding at all. It's just the fabric. This actually has a good amount of breathable mesh padding, and if you're thin like me, or even if you're not thin, the more padding you have on your shoulder straps, the better. You're going to have less friction against your collarbones, less pressure, and if you're rucking for a substantial amount of time with 25 pounds on your back, that makes a big difference. The waist straps are pretty much padded identically, and the bags have the same adjustments as far as being able to cinch down your shoulder straps, tighten your waist straps. They both have the strap that goes across your chest line here, and those are all fully adjustable. You can cinch both of these up and down as well. On both bags, you can cinch the chest line up and down as you see fit. You can do it on this one as well. The Uncharted actually does have a little bit more range for adjusting your chest strap as far as up and down goes. As far as expandability on the outside goes, from what I can tell, and I looked way longer than I should have, there are no first or third-party accessories for the outside of the Uncharted bag. There's really no attachment points on the outside of the bag to add anything. You have your water bottle holder and these buckle loops here for truck pulls, things like that. And then you have these four-corner hoops, if you will, for clipping things on, maybe some small items. You might be able to get away with that, but that's about it. Rhino Ready does offer two first-party accessories, which is the 3-piece MOLLE expansion panel that I already mentioned to you, which I have here, and then they have a 1-piece MOLLE panel as well, which is just this large piece on the back. It doesn't have the sides. So as far as customizing the outside of the bag, Rhino Ready has a clear advantage there with MOLLE webbing. For those of you who are familiar with it, you can any MOLLE capable item or kit or bag you can put on here. There's a substantial amount of room too, so that gives you customization on the outside as well as being able to easily add more items to your bag and keep it organized. There's really not too much room inside of the bag to add additional items. We'll go through that in a minute, but as far as the outside, that's about the long and short of it. Alright, now we're going to look at deploying each bag, opening it, and the process and what that looks like, easy use, those kind of things, and what I like or dislike about each. Starting with the Rhino Ready, first thing you do, undo your Velcro handle at the top. You can just pull that apart, and then you have 2 buckles on each side of the backpack for your MOLLE expansion kit. Undo all 4 of those. Grab your zipper, unzip it. It has a clamshell design, similar to a suitcase, not exactly like one, but similar. Open it up, and you are in. That's all there is to it. It's pretty quick, pretty straightforward. Now, as far as the inside of this Rhino Ready, as you can see, everything is very tightly packed. It's not really a downside, because like I mentioned earlier, you have all the different capabilities of adding different items and things like that to the outside of the pack because of the MOLLE webbing. These individual compartments here are pretty packed. There's some room. There's actually substantial amounts of room in the first aid kit. This first aid kit is fairly comprehensive as it is. It doesn't have advanced trauma gear in it, but it will get you by for 90% of things that you can expect to run into in the woods or camping, things like that. There's a lot of room to add trauma gear. I was a corpsman in the Navy, and so I have my own med bag already ready to go, and I can fit about half of those items in this first aid kit. With that said, all of these individual compartments are removable. They're all on a hook and loop system, so if you need to go from point A to B quickly, maybe you have a friend or family member hurt, 100 yards away, and you don't want to lug this 20 pounds of gear with you, it's all hook and loop. Pull it out, it's ready to go. All of these compartments are like that. Each one of these is on a hook and loop system. It's just as easy to do as this one. Pull it out, you're ready to run. Each individual compartment is labeled for what the specific genre of items in each pouch are, and then they are itemized as well. They're all Velcroed. That's one thing I don't love about the Uncharted's the same way. The Velcro is very loud. Like if you're trying to stay quiet or not draw attention to yourself, or for whatever number of reasons you might be in this situation, it's not the loudest, but it's louder than a buckle would be. I'm sure that maybe they did that for trying to keep water out maybe, but you could have accomplished the same exact thing with this fold-in design with a buckle. It's just a minor gripe. But like I said, all these are hook and loop. Put them back in when you're done. You're ready to go. The Uncharted is the same way as far as labeling everything, but you cannot remove the individual pouches. Those are sewn into the Uncharted. I'm sure there's a reason why they did that, but I would much rather have the ability to remove individual packs in the case of an emergency as opposed to having to lug the entire bag with me. So that's a brief overview of opening the Rhino Ready and what that looks like, and kind of some of the features as far as the actual interior of the pack goes, not so much the contents. We'll get into that in a minute. And then to fold it back up, just do the exact opposite of what you just did. Fold it up, zip it shut, reattach your MOLLE panel clips, buckles, whatever you'd like to call these. Velcro up your handle, and you're ready to go. So that's the that's the Rhino Ready Companion V2. Now we have the Uncharted 72 Pro. The deployment on this one looks a little bit different. So this bag is waterproof. It's folded here at the top to make it waterproof. It can also, one feature that this bag has that the Rhino Ready does not have, it's able to be used as a personal flotation device to assist you in getting across a body of water if need be. You can take the insert out of here, keep the air in, fold it, buckle it, and you can use it as more or less a buoy to help you get across a body of water if that need arises. So, with that said, undo the top buckle. There's only one. You unfold the top here. I'm going to need to set this down on the ground. And then the insert, they call this the insert, pulls out of the main bag. Once your insert's out, there are 5 buckles on this, 2 on each side, 1 on the top, another Velcro handle. Open it up, and now you have exposed the guts of the Uncharted. Like I just mentioned, all of these individual compartments, these are sewn in, you can't remove them. So that is just one thing to note. That's a I wouldn't call it a selling point. I highly prefer the hook and loop system. I know I touched on that already. It's just something that I think I can't figure out why they didn't do it. It's probably because of the design of this insert. It probably just wouldn't be feasible for them to do it. It's not the end of the world. I just prefer the Rhino Ready's approach. One other thing I don't love about the way this one's set up, as you can see, you fold it open, and when you're folding it open slowly and relaxed, it's not a problem. But I did have, there's some items over here on the left. I did have my flashlight and my multi-tool flop out of the kit when I opened it twice. So if that happens in the woods and you're in a situation where you're panicked or in your rush, you might not notice that happened until it's too late. It's just something to be mindful of. Again, not the end of the world. Just thought I'd mention it. Same deal. Everything's labeled. Each compartment is labeled for its primary use, and then each one is itemized to give you an idea of the contents of each one. So, shutting this one up. Fold it. Buckle each buckle. I will say, as far as speed, there's not really a big difference in deploying each one, but if you need to hurry up and move, the Uncharted is a little more cumbersome than the Rhino Ready. You saw the Rhino Ready, it was just as easy to put back together as it was to deploy it. But with the Uncharted, you have to put this insert back in the outer bag here. I'm actually going to probably have to stand up here. So, the best way to do that is grab the insert. Real quick, I forgot to mention, the insert does have its own backpack straps in case you do need to go from point A to B real quick for whatever reason, so you don't have to mess with trying to get this back in the bag quickly. This is not meant for rucking or long distance. They're very thin. They're not super durable. It's just in case of an emergency or in a pinch. It also has a handle that you can grab. Anyway, putting it away, you just drop the insert back into the outer bag. Just get it lined up as good as you can. But one thing that happens no matter how good you line it up is these external buckles of the insert get caught on the lip of the outer bag. Once you get it started, you can kind of give it a good old college try here. And just give it one of these. See, buckle got stuck again. And then you're done. Now you can see that wasn't the end of the world by any means, but if you're in a hurry, if you're freaking out a little bit, it can be cumbersome and time consuming. Fold this back up to make it watertight. Fold over your buckle. Fold over your buckle. Yep. Not sure what's going on there. Maybe it's backwards. There we go. And you're done. So, that is deploying each bag, putting each bag away, and the pluses and minuses to both as far as the interior goes. Like I said, as far as ease of deploying each one, they're pretty much identical. Putting it away, the Rhino Ready definitely has the edge, and the Rhino Ready also has the hook and loop compartments on the inside, which I prefer. So that about sums that up. Alright, so this is going to be the last part of the video. I'm just going to touch on some individual items that each kit has that the other one might not have, and then the overall quality of the items in each kit. The biggest standout to me as far as the difference in items in each kit is the food and water compartment of the Rhino Ready. So in the Rhino Ready, you have 2 full-size 2,400 calorie Daytrex emergency ration bars. There's 12 of them in each one, and they are the full-size Daytrex containers. The one in the Uncharted is the smaller half containers. You have 2 of those. So basically you have double the food in the Rhino Ready that you do in the Uncharted. The Rhino Ready also comes with, I believe it's 12 of these emergency drinking water pouches. If you've ever had a Capri Sun, works the exact same way, but it's water. There is no included water in the Uncharted bag. You have your water purification system in there, which this also has. I believe they call theirs the Scout, I think. And I'll show that briefly. I'm not going to take it all apart. Basically, you have a dirty side and a clean side. These are 2 separate containers. You thread each one of those containers on opposite ends of this, and then you let gravity do the work. Dirty water will run through the filter, and when it gets down into the clean water one, it'll be clean. The Uncharted supply has pretty much the exact same system in it from what I can tell. But again, there's no actual water in that kit. You are relying solely on your ability and access to water to filter it and drink it that way. Like I said, that's a big deal to me. The food and the water, if you're in an actual emergency and you don't have time to grab anything else, then that might be a big difference. So, food and water is a big difference. The first aid kit in each bag is about the same. I think the overall items in the Uncharted, it might be a little bit better, not a lot. There's a couple things I noticed that it has some saline. This doesn't have any saline in it, and then a few other small things. None of them are deal breakers. Like I said, I'm a medic, so I'm gonna outfit this after the fact anyway. And any pre-packaged bag, you're gonna want to expand on your medical kit anyway. So that's not a huge deal. The one thing I do like about the Rhino Ready's first aid kit, though, is the amount of space you have in it to add your own gear. So basically, you have this top pocket, which is full of your triangular bandage, your trauma pads, compression bandages, triangular bandages, if I didn't say that already, ace wrap, self-sticking adhesive, medical tape, gauze, things like that. Then you have all of these things here. You have some gloves, you have your trauma shears, you have a pair of tweezers, cold compress, gloves, you have a one-way emergency respirator, biohazard bag, and then some antibacterial wipes and some septic towelettes. You also have a pack of 4.5-inch 8-ply cotton. But down here, and you can add your own stuff in here if you want to. It's a pretty decent little layout for a pre-packaged med bag. But this entire pocket down here is empty. and that's a lot of space to add additional things that I would personally be adding to it. I'm not going to go through that whole list. I'm not here to give you advice on prepping. I'm just here to show you the differences. But there's a lot more room in the first aid kit in this one than there is in the Uncharted one. So that's a win to me. Like I said, the 1 or 2 items that the Uncharted bag has, the Uncharted first aid has that this doesn't, isn't enough to be a deal breaker by any means. Let's see. I'm sorry. Oh, the goggles. So the goggles in the Rhino Ready are much nicer than the goggles in the Uncharted. They both do have goggles, which is nice. But this one, the Rhino Ready, has these. First of all, it has a proper carrying case. And these are heavy duty, I guess they're ski goggles is really the only thing I can compare them to. They're very nice, they have ample padding, and the biggest thing for me is they are tinted. They're tinted, so if you don't know what kind of situation you're gonna find yourself in, having the tint and the carrying case is a win to me. The goggles in the Uncharted one did feel a little bit cheaper. There wasn't as much padding. This is subjective. They didn't quite fit my head as good, and they're not tinted. They're clear. So that was a big difference to me. The radio in the Rhino Ready as well, I like more, and the reason for that is, and I might be mistaken on this, but so somebody might want to double check. So this has the hand crank, obviously, which will charge the internal lithium-ion battery. I think it said 1 minute of crank will give you 20 minutes of radio.
Brought to you by Klaben. Experience the Klaben difference as a Klaben
Not too bad.
member. Visit the career
It has both radios do have AM, FM, and weather band, and they both have a solar panel and a flashlight. This one does feel a little bit more rugged to me. It's got more heft to it. It also has a larger internal battery, and it has USB Type-C and USB to charge. You can use this as a power bank. It's like I said, I think it's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in there. So it's a decent power bank as well. So you have the USB and USB Type-C on this one. The one in the Uncharted doesn't have USB Type-C, and I don't think it has the headphone jack either. So you could hook, hypothetically, if you wanted to, you could hook this up to a sound system or speakers and listen to it that way. That was one thing that I noticed. I think that's about it as far as the Uncharted one goes, as far as big difference. Oh, the raincoats. The raincoats in the Uncharted, or I'm sorry, the raincoats in the Rhino Ready are proper raincoats. They're not crappy ponchos. That doesn't have raincoats in it. The Uncharted doesn't. So that's one nice thing. And the gloves are warmer in the Rhino Ready as well. So, that about does it for the Rhino Ready. And then as the Uncharted goes, it's not a complete loss for Uncharted over here, though. It does have a couple things that I liked. One thing that I really like is the fact that you can use that external bag as a flotation device. You know, is that situation going to arise? I don't know. If it does, though, you're prepared. Obviously, that's not going to be an option with the Rhino Ready. One thing that this came with that the Rhino Ready straight up just doesn't come with is in the tools pouch. They both have a decent knife. It's not the best knife in the world, but it is a full tang knife. Both kits have a full tang knife. Both kits come with a multi-tool. They seem to be about the same quality. It's not a Leatherman, but they're not bad either. It'll work, and it seemed tough enough. They also both have a ferrocerium rod in it for starting a fire, and the Uncharted does have a sharpening brick in it. The Rhino Ready did not have the sharpening brick included. One other thing that Uncharted put in here that Rhino Ready did not is an emergency shovel. It doesn't seem to be the most durable thing I've ever seen in my life, but it is a shovel. So if you do have your emergency shovel here to get you out of a pinch if you need it. It's decent. It does have a serrated edge on one side of the shovel if you need it for cutting or for anything like that. So again, that is just straight up not in the Rhino Ready. So that is a benefit to the Uncharted. is that little shovel. But I kind of circle back to what I mentioned earlier. You can add a shovel easily to the outside of the Rhino Ready. So it's just keep coming back to that expandability, you know what I mean? Oh, I was wrong. I'm sorry. This does have full-size Day-Trex rations in them, right? Yeah. For some reason, I thought I saw on their website that these were the half servings. I was wrong. So it is the same amount of food in each bag. I apologize for that. But one thing I was not wrong about is the water situation. There is no water included. You just have the same kind of filtration system that is in the Rhino Ready, but minus the actual water availability. I'll show you the goggles real quick that I was talking about. So these are the goggles in the Uncharted. This is just like a plastic sheet. As you can see, these ones are not tinted. They're definitely not quite as nice. It's not a huge difference in overall like niceness. It's just these aren't tinted. And that's kind of a deal breaker for me as far as comparing the two sets of goggles directly to each other. They both have masks in them as well. They're both N95s, and they both have a set of chem lights in them in your air and vision bags. First aid bag, I can't pull it out like I did on the Uncharted, but it's very similar. Actually, I can. So this is one of the items that this is, I believe, the only big item you can pull out individually from this kit. This is the first aid bag for the Uncharted supply. Like I said, it does have saline, has some more hygienic wipes in it, but other than that, they're very, very similar. And like I said, there's clearly way more room in the other one to expand on. So, but that about does it as far as the individualized items. So, with that said, where are we at here? Well, I think it's probably pretty obvious that I prefer the Rhino Ready. I prefer it. For one, the price. For $250 less, it's a no-brainer. Unless you absolutely need that floatable exterior bag, it's a no-brainer to go with the Rhino Ready at the current pricing. I also like the expandability that the Rhino Ready provides as far as the MOLLE webbing options. That's just, the possibilities there are endless as far as what you can do and add to the outside of the bag. So I'm not even going to go down that road. This bag also rucks better. I did 5 miles with each bag, and this one was overall way more comfortable for me. I was able to keep it up higher for longer, and I didn't have any shoulder pain with this one. I did have a little bit with the Uncharted, and this one weighs more, so that is saying something. But that can come down to personal preference. The Rhino Ready, real quick, also has a few items that the other one just doesn't. It has a notebook, a weatherproof pen. It does have a compass in it. I didn't see a compass in the Uncharted. Let's see. I think off the top of my head, that's everything. Along with the other things I named, I believe that's all the things that this has that straight up doesn't. But anyway, back to my summary here. Between the expandability, the customization, the ability to add your own items easily and organize those items, the hook and loop system to remove these individual compartments, the comfort of the bag, and the price, Rhino Ready is my winner. If the sales end and or maybe Uncharted drops their prices, I could see there being an argument there at that point. But overall, you guys just saw it. Overall, the kits basically have the same items in them. You know, for excluding a handful of things, and you can add or remove the items that you want to. So you can't really base it on that. The quality of all the items, I think overall, Rhino Ready does put a little bit nicer stuff in their bag. Oh, you know, and that's not every single item. There's just certain ones that I noticed were nicer. So yeah, I don't think you can't go wrong with either one. If you're an Uncharted loyalist and you want to go with that kit, that's perfectly fine. But as far as the one I'll be keeping and the one that I suggest you spend your money on, it's going to be the Rhino Ready. I hope this was helpful. Like I said earlier, I'm not a professional. This is not a job for me. This is just something I wanted to do to try to help out other people. A lot of the videos on YouTube that are out there are very obviously either paid shills. We're trying to review things, or they just go into way too much depth about in each individualized item, and they don't talk about important things that I think are important, like comfort, expandability, price, things like that. So that's why I wanted to do this, and people asked for it too. So I hope that was helpful. Good luck on your prepping. If anybody has any questions, feel free to send me a message on Facebook. And if you can't find that coupon code for the Rhino Ready, go ahead and shoot me a message and I'll get that over to you. I believe it's still valid. So thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.